just going to do a couple minutes on this because I think it's an important subject that we need to talk about. I wrote this question down. What is the one thing that when you have it, it changes everything? What's the one thing when you have this, it changes everything?
Money.
Cash, money. Confidence. What is the one thing that is common to every individual, team, family, or organization? What's, in your mind, you can write it down, what's the one thing that's common to every individual, team, family, or organization?
Commitment.
Time.
Commitment, time, okay. What's the one thing which, if removed, will destroy the most powerful governments, or the most powerful businesses, or the deepest loves? What's the one thing? No, it's not money, is it? Huh? Confidence, structure, integrity. What is the one thing that, if developed and leveraged, has the potential to create unparalleled success and prosperity in every single dimension of your life? What's that one thing? One word. Write this word down. The word is trust. The word is trust. Write down the word trust. I wrote down here, you know when you have it, and you know when you don't. You know you have a relationship where there's trust, and you know where there's not trust. Gaining and losing trust comes in a split second. I either trust or I don't. We meet somebody, we tend to trust them, or we don't. We trusted them, they did something, now we don't. Get it? In a split second, this can go. I wrote down here, simply put, trust equals confidence. Write it down. Trust equals confidence. You have confidence, you trust in yourself, and the people trusting you, so therefore then they have confidence. The opposite then of trust is distrust, suspicion. Interesting. So one of my great gurus, I've read everything he's got that he's written on, ever since a book. Actually, Bill and I went to a seminar 25 years ago. Tom Peters, the book was In Search of Excellence. If you ever get an opportunity, anything that Tom Peters writes, read. Anyway, he said, technique and technology are important, but adding trust is the issue of the decade. Adding trust is the issue of the decade. It's the difference between making it and not making it, doing it quickly and not doing it quickly. I wrote down here, take a minute and think of a person who you have a high trust relationship with. Think of that person. Just take a moment. A teacher, a spouse, maybe a clergy member, perhaps a friend. What's that relationship like? How does that relationship feel? When that person says something and they approach you on something and they want to tell you something, you take it in and you trust them. You appreciate what they say because they're coming to you from a place of trust. They don't have their own agenda. But if somebody's telling you something, even if it's the right thing, but you don't trust them, then what happens? Interesting, huh? I wrote down here, you can't have success without trust. You cannot have success without trust. And if credibility equals trust, I think there's three factors that make up credibility. So you can write these down. The first one, not necessarily in this order, is integrity. Okay? My definition of integrity is honesty, walking your talk. It's honestly, it's being honest, and walking your talk. You're congruent. Okay? You may not like what I say, but because I do what I say most of the time, and I pride myself on doing what I say, I have contracts with people, but they're only to remind me of what I said, not to keep me in the contract. Does that make sense? It's really a reminder, because the truth is, at 62 years old, I can't remember anything, okay? It's really getting weird. I always thought that there was certain things I would never forget. Just certain things I would never forget. How could I possibly forget how much cash I had, or how much, where my kid's address was, or their phone numbers, or, stuff. You forget. Birthdays, kids' birthdays. Forget. Yeah, it's sometime in that month. Which month? I don't know which month. But it happens. You get so much in your head, that stuff happens. So for me, I try to under-promise and over-deliver. That's been my approach my whole life. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but that's the goal. So, integrity, honesty, walking your talk, being congruent inside and out. I can't tell you to be consistent if I'm not consistent. It's very difficult. You look at me and say, yeah, right. If I'm out of congruence, you're going to look at it and say, wow, what does that mean? He says to go out and door knock. He says to go out and practice. He says to go out to do this. He says to show up on time. He says to look nice. He says to have a nice car. He says to be conservative. He says to pay his bills, but he doesn't. We know people like that, right? They talk, but they don't do. I wrote down here that factor, that integrity, is having the courage to act in accordance with your values and beliefs. Act in accordance with your values and your beliefs. You do what you say you're going to do. I wrote down the second one is your capabilities. They are the abilities we have to inspire confidence. They are our talents, our attitudes, our skills, the knowledge and the style in which we present. They are the means we use to produce results. So, the example I wrote down here is a doctor, integrity may be great. However, unless he's been trained as a brain surgeon, and you need brain surgery, he doesn't have the skills to be able to take care of this. So his capabilities don't match his integrity. Do you guys get me? You have to be careful. You can have integrity, but do your capabilities match your integrity? Someone could say I'm the most honest person in the world and you should list your house with me, but if you don't know anything about the marketplace, why should they list your house with them? Why should they list your house with them, right? You don't know anything about the market. You don't know what houses are selling for. It doesn't work. And the third one is results. Write down track record of our performance in getting things done correctly. If we don't accomplish what we are expected to do, we lose credibility. Hear me, hear me, hear me, hear me, hear me. If we don't accomplish what we are expected to do, we lose credibility. You say you're a great real estate agent, and yet you don't do what you're supposed to do on the days you're supposed to do it. So what makes you a great real estate agent? You say somebody should list with you because you're a great real estate agent. But the truth is, you're not. Now, they don't know you didn't do what you did for the last 80 days, okay? But you do. You do. Trust also is telling yourself the truth. See, if you keep saying, I'm a great salesperson, and I do all the things that I'm supposed to do, and you come up to a client and you say, I'm going to door knock 200 doors around your house, and I'm going to make 3 hours, this is what I do 3 hours of calling a day, and I preview 5 houses a day, and this is what I do different than everyone else in my community, and you don't do it, it's not going to come out right. Does that make sense? Because you're not a person of integrity. you're not giving the results. You don't have the credibility. I wrote down here, you can't have success without trust. You can't have success without trust. And there's a book out called The Speed of Trust. It's how fast do you gain the trust with the person. That's going to make the difference. There's times when we have met somebody and we introduce ourselves, they introduce themselves to us, and we have some type of a quick bond with that person, and our speed of trust jumps way up. And then there's other people, there's nothing we can do or say to gain that trust of that individual. We have to work on this. And we have to work on it in those three areas: integrity, credibility, and results. Are you a person of your word? Are you a person of your word? Do you do what you say you're going to do? So, here's the interesting thing. Sometimes we tell other people what we're going to do, and we do that. And sometimes, and that works out okay, sometimes. But have you ever said to yourself, you're going to do something and not do it? Has it ever happened? Okay, this is it. I'm going to prospect 3 hours today, and every day for the next 80 work days, nothing's going to get in my way. Anyone ever had one of those moments? Yeah, it's just all of us, right? And then tomorrow, we did 2.5 hours. We did almost, but not quite. Do you know when I know the difference between a real superstar who wants to hit their goal and somebody who's playing at it? When I check their numbers. A, they keep track of their numbers. B, they hit their numbers, what their goals are. And they don't come up short. Last week I had an opportunity to meet with a couple potential superstars, and their goal was to do 150 contacts a week. And they were like 12 short 3 weeks in a row. Now that tells me a lot about an individual, because there's not one of you that can't get 12 more contacts in any given week. Would you guys agree? Come on. Come on. Sure you can. If you wanted to. If you were committed to do it. 12 more contacts. No problem. Piece of cake. But when you come to the meeting with me, or with Bill, or with Diane, and you're 12 contacts short, what's that say about you? It's terrible, right? Right, Patty? Yeah. She's over there cringing. I'm not talking about you. Calm down, right? So I wrote down here, what 1 or 2 things could you start work on today to improve the trust between you, your clients, and your family? What are the 1 or 2 things that you could do today that would work on improving the trust between you, your clients, and your family? Remember, today matters. What you do today and what you focus on for the next 80 work days is going to make the difference between you guys having a spectacular Christmas and an average Christmas. A spectacular Christmas where you can do what you want to do for your family and for yourselves, or just a ho-hum average Christmas where you're struggling to buy the bike and you're struggling, okay, Louis, you can have 1 present. Okay, no, that's too big. Okay? Come on, you guys. Have a spectacular Christmas. A spectacular time of the year. That's all going to start May 1st. Get it? By the way, if you wanted to start it today, you'll be 2 days in advance of that. That's okay. But May 1st for 80 work days. is going to give you the most spectacular end of the year that you've ever had. Now let's go out and do that this week. Thank you.